When I first found out that I got this role, my first goal was to get through it, and the second goal was to sing it as well as I could with the current voice and skill set that I possessed at the time. There were a lot of technical aspects that I really lent into to get through this role. One was singing into the mask. When you sing into the mask, you're utilizing your singer's formant, so that is a higher frequency than the orchestra is vibrating at, so your voice kind of carries over the top of everybody, even though you're singing against string instruments, woodwinds, brass, percussion. So it's kind of a more economical way to get through a role. And with a role as challenging and as difficult as this one, I kind of needed all the help that I could get. So I really lent into singing in the mask and singing smarter, not harder. I think I had two main challenges when I was taking this role on. The first of which was my actual anatomy at the time. I was 20, and usually singers don't take this role on until their mid-30s or 40s. That's when a lot of opera singers hit their stride, and that's to do a little bit with the anatomy of the throat. The cartilage in there ossifies, so it helps you produce a more clear, vibrant, more powerful sound. So to address that issue, I really lent heavily into my technique, especially my breath support, and with focusing my sound in my mask to utilize that singer's formant. The second issue that I really ran into was my own mind. I really stood in my own way emotionally and mentally, so learning how to take a step outside of myself and get out of my own way was a really big component of how I was able to take this role on. I think while preparing this role, I really had to examine my work ethic and my motivation to be a singer. I think with a role this challenging, you can't do anything but be introspective. You have to really lean into all aspects of your training, all aspects of what you know about technique. And I think that really helped just solidify all that I had learned so far, and it also highlighted what I need to learn going forward as a singer. I think the moment that was the most transformative for me during this rehearsal process was the moment where I decided to continue forward with the role. There was a lot of self-doubt circulating within me, and I was really standing in my own way. And there was a period of time where I was seriously considering stepping down and not singing this role and letting the other person who I was sharing the role with do the role entirely by herself, which she was more than capable of doing. But I think the moment where I kind of mustered up the strength to keep going and I decided to see it through, and I'm very glad that I did have that moment. But that's one of the moments that stands out the most to me personally and professionally as a singer. I think all roles and projects going forward in my career are put into perspective by just the nature of the Queen of the Night. It is one of the most challenging roles in operatic repertoire. It was especially challenging for me, not only as a young singer, but just as a singer in general. So when I go forward into a new role or a new production or a new project, it doesn't seem quite as difficult or as daunting as maybe it would have been if I hadn't already faced the challenge of the Queen of the Night. For someone new to opera stepping into their first role, I would just encourage them to over-prepare, to not only learn their music, but everyone else in the scene with them, their music as well. There will be times in live performance where things get off the rails, and I think that the mark of a truly excellent performer is being able to get the train back on the tracks. The conductor will work together with you, but you have to know not only your music, but everyone else in the scene's music to get that train back on track. I think for myself, if I were to give my younger self some advice, it would be to get out of your own way. It would be to take a step outside of yourself and try to look at things a little bit more objectively, and to decenter yourself in this production. You know, with the role of the Queen of the Night, it is one of, if not the most important roles in the opera, but it's not the only role in the opera. And even if you crash and burn, the opera will still be excellent because your castmates are very talented. So remove some of the pressure off of your shoulders.